All right, and we are ready to go. Thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is John Sakala. I'm on the bottom right here. I am Google Cloud's public sector lead for the state of Illinois. And with me today, I have Secretary Jennifer Ricker from the CIO at Department of Innovation and Technology, and Mark Boucher, our Google Public Sector Partner Manager. And you'll be hearing from each of us today. A couple of things before we get started. Everybody is on mute right now for clarity, so you can hear everything that we're saying. And then we're going to have Q&A at the end, and you can take yourself off mute by hitting the little microphone button on the left-hand side of the screen at the bottom. If anybody's having any kind of audio problems, you can press the three dots, the ellipse in the middle of your screen, and you can have Google Meet call you on your phone if you would like to, if you're having trouble through your computer audio. So at this point here, allow me to go ahead and get started. And today we're going to talk about the DoIT BEP program with Google and what Google Partnership Advantage program to help your firms do more business with the state. And before we get started, from the Google side, I'd like to turn it over to Secretary Ricker and have her say a few words. Secretary Ricker, if I can pass it over to you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Can you hear me okay before I start talking?
Yes.
And find out you can't? Okay,
we can
great.
Hear you fine.
All right. Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for joining. And John, thank you for giving me just a couple of minutes to speak here today. Really just wanted to share with this group just a few things to help kick this off. As John mentioned, the state does partner closely with Google. We've utilized them over this last year, in particular during the pandemic, in several different ways. And I think, you know, we've talked about this publicly a lot, and I'll just say right off the bat, right? I always have to be careful about what I say regarding procurement. There's a lot of rules around procurement, as I'm sure everyone on this call knows. So I'm not going to talk about anything specific that may or may not be to come, but just to talk briefly about, you know, just things that we're looking at as a general matter and that we've talked about publicly, and that I think most organizations are looking toward as they continue to modernize their organization or move towards digital transformation, as the state has been trying to do. And a couple of things come to mind here, particularly as it relates to Google, right? Like looking at the cloud, looking for opportunities to move things into the cloud. We saw that quite a bit this past year. Some of the frustrations and challenges that we had at the state in terms of inability to scale certain things. And, you know, if you've got everything on-prem, that's hard to do. So being able to scale and look to the cloud for that is key. Automation, artificial intelligence, that type of functionality. This is also something we've been heavily moving towards over the past year. It's been on our roadmap, right? COVID and the move to almost complete remote work and remote interaction with the residents of Illinois has made this that much more critical in order to really serve the public. So in these areas over the past years, Google's been a great partner in that respect. I think generally these are the areas we're focused on to come. We're always going to be looking for more in this arena. So I just say that as just to kind of set the stage that you know, for your businesses, you should be thinking about those things too if you're interested in working with the state. But most importantly for this event, the reason why we wanted to participate and worked closely with Google to try to set this up was really the importance to us of supplier diversity and really advancing our BEP program. We've done several things over the past year in terms of trying to work to, you know, create opportunities to increase participation in both prime contracts, but also for subs on the prime contracts, as well as trying to provide direct opportunities. But The partner program that Google is going to talk about today, I think, is exciting, and I'm so happy that John, you're willing to do this and provide this opportunity to really hear in depth how this partnership program works and how those of you that are on the call can participate in this. So I think this is great, and certainly want to do more of this because this is a little bit beyond the, when we do our BEP supplier days, it's a little more broad-based. So I'm really excited to get to talk about how the tactical piece of this, right? So that said, I'll also mention our agency procurement officer intended to be here today as well and give you a few other, I guess, tips or words of wisdom about doing business with the state. He unfortunately was not able to join us today, but one thing I would just say, whether you're working with the state as a prime or as a sub with a partner such as Google, I would just make sure, I think everyone on the call that was invited is probably already a BEP certified vendor, but I would just make sure, if you haven't lately, check on the Illinois General Services CPO website. There's a tab for vendor resources that has a lot of information about different types of registrations and things like that. It's really important to always be up to date with the various certifications and registrations so that when there are opportunities in the future, that when a procurement moves, you're not, sometimes we found this holds it up. If there's something like a vendor doesn't have their registration up to date or something's not on file. So I'll just throw that out as just another tip of, how to try to make things move a little bit faster with the state, because I know they're painfully slow. So with that, John, I'm going to turn it back over to you. So thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Secretary Ricker. We did have a question. Could you just repeat that website you just mentioned?
Yes.
Yeah,
so it's actually illinois.gov/CPO/general. And then I think you can just go and you'll see vendor resources on their website.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Secretary Ricker. Thank you. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. So at Google Cloud, our mission here is to help organize information and make it universally accessible and useful. And we focus on helping the state and public sector achieve desirable outcomes to help with their projects and to provide better constituent service where possible. In DoIT, there's a growing, everything I'm talking about here is publicly available information. And this is a kind of an amalgamation of things that we have learned in working with the state and listening to business plans that are publicly available. So there's a growing need in DoIT, particularly at the state of Illinois, to reduce technical debt across all of their agencies and modernize with an enterprise approach to technology. And as Secretary Ricker said, over the past year, we've been collaborating with DoIT in a variety of ways to help them drive measurable results. And we've worked with Department of Employment Security, Commerce and Economic Opportunity, Public Health, Department of Revenue, Emergency Management, and DoIT themselves in ways to help them make progress and solve problems. And if you look across the road in the new fiscal year for the state of Illinois, there are many areas that are going to be continually addressed in the future across the 53 or so agencies that DoIT supports. All of them listed here, at top of the list is cybersecurity and data management, and a number of other ones as well. All of these projects that we do at Google are delivered 100% through Google partners. And what we're going to talk to you today about is the way that we work with our partners to support you and help you grow your business so you can do business not only with the state, but the other companies or customers that you service as a matter of course of your own business. So you're probably asking yourself, what's in it for me? So you're here, you have an interest, and we thank you for being here. What our intent today is to tell you what's in it for you. And I know in working with your peers in the BEP community, that it's always a challenge. It's not always a challenge, but it can be challenging to find the opportunities, to even know that something's going on, to participate. And in many cases, maybe you can do part of the solution, but not all of the solution. And it may be hard for you sometimes to become a subcontractor to a prime who has the qualifications to deliver the solution. So in those areas, our partnership program that we're talking to you today about, Google will help find opportunities for you. We'll bring you opportunities to participate in. We'll find the primes if it's required for qualifications, and we'll help the primes bring you in to be participating in their bids and in their body of work. We'll also support your sales efforts with proposals, technical support, sales delivery, information management, all the things that you need to do to participate in these work projects. And we'll train your staff for free in Google Cloud. And Mark Boucher, my colleague, will go through the advantages of the partner program, but we try to help make it easy for you. You know, hit the easy button by working with Google so that you can get frictionless access to new opportunities to help grow your business with backing from Google to you for your business. And this, we believe, will help you diversify your portfolio of services and even drive new revenue streams for your company, whether it's with DoIT in the state or with your other universe of customers that might not be the state. And ultimately, as we all probably know on this call, the world is moving to cloud computing at a tremendous rate. And there's a statistic there that you can read, but this will help you ride the cloud computing wave so that you can participate in this growth and grow your business. That's the high level of what we want to convey to you today. And I want to give you one example, and my colleagues from Highgate may be on the call here today, but we put our money where our mouth is at Google. My job at the state of Illinois is to help deliver outcomes to the state and work with the BEP community to help participate in these bids. This is a BEP, registered BEP vendor that we brought into an opportunity. And this were the comments that they wrote to me, the CEO wrote to me, which I'm very proud of, because we try to put our money where our mouth is and not just give lip service to participation, but actually dive in and help companies. And I was very proud to have this comments from Highgate Management Solutions, and they're in the BEP program, and there's their certifications and their commodity codes, and they may be like yours on some of the call here today. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Mark Boucher, who leads our Partner Advantage program. Mark, we'll take you through how this all works.
Awesome. Thank you, John. You can hear me okay?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you, John, for putting this together. Folks on the phone, thank you so much for making time for this. We truly appreciate it. And Secretary Rickard, thank you for your sponsorship as well. As John mentioned, my name is Mark Boucher. I'm on the Google Cloud partner team, specifically supporting our state and local business in the U.S. Central region. Next slide, John. There we go. Thank you. So I'll walk you through our partner program as it exists today, how you can onboard into this program, and the benefits and additional incentives for becoming a Google Cloud partner, as well as the requirements to doing so. But I wanted to start with this. We really built our program around the key tenets or components that make up greater Google, being very, very simple and easy to use, easy to apply. Being very collaborative, as John mentioned before, like we want to bring opportunities to you all. Being innovative, of course, we're always trying to make enhancements to the program as well as we do to our technology, and then ultimately build for growth. I think anyone who has been following the cloud computing market lately has noticed, Google is in third place, but we are catching up very quickly to our competition, and we are growing tremendously in the state and local market, and we hope that you guys can participate with us as well. Next slide, John. So really quick, high level. Again, the program itself is called Partner Advantage. Very straightforward program. I'm sure you all have seen very similar partner programs with other OEMs and vendors that you work with. So I'll just kind of walk you through ours very quickly. There's really 3 engagement models. And what we mean by engagement model is, what do you want to do within our program? And so we separate that out by selling, just straight up reselling, right? Pretty straightforward. Where you will simply resell our technology and make some margin off that. You've got access to maybe some contract vehicles. That's a huge advantage to us, and we don't want to take anything directly, right? And John would be the first to tell you, and I will as well. I mean, we, as you can imagine, a company like Google, our attorneys and our legal team is not thrilled about the idea of doing business directly with government customers. So we definitely, are very friendly to the partner ecosystem and working through those terms of service and things like that. The second category is just simply services. So again, as the name would indicate, this is where we want partners coming in and doing actual professional services on our behalf. And that typically entails some sort of implementation or consulting or technical support services. Sometimes that will be a subcontractor, prime contractor, split of work. But at the end of the day, Google very rarely does these services ourselves. We outsource almost all of our services work directly to partners, which again can provide a new revenue stream for you all, but also provides success to the customer, right? Like, we're not trying to sell these very complicated AI ML technologies to customers without any sort of service and support. We need to help them ensure that it's configured correctly and set up and implemented, and we have ongoing support to make that project successful. So sell and service are primarily the 2 engagement models, the 2 types of partners that I work most closely with. And I think everyone on this call, those are probably the 2 categories that you would fit in most closely with. But I'll also mention we do have a third program, third model called the Build, which is basically any of our tech partners who might have an application or a product or a service that wants to run on GCP, Google Cloud Platform. This would be the category for them, where they simply port their solution onto Google Cloud. It's going to run on our infrastructure on the back end, and we can ultimately sell together to a customer. So may not be a spot for you all, but I thought it'd be worth mentioning. Next slide, John. So then once you understand the sort of different engagement models that we talked about on the last slide, then it gets into leveling, right? So of course, just like every partner program, probably we've got different levels based on different types of partners and sort of their maturity and their growth within our ecosystem. So the first level that you would come in as is simply a member. And what that means is that you've applied to become a Google partner and you're still working through your onboarding process. So we would treat you as a member, meaning you still have some work to do, maybe around certifications, which we'll get to in a minute, or maybe just signing the contracts, the paperwork ultimately at the end. We still want to recognize you in the program as a member, but we're not necessarily going to transact together yet. So that's where we move to the second tier, which is our partner level, and that is where we would actually transact. So once you reach partner level, it means obviously you've applied to become a partner, but then you've achieved the basic criteria, which I'll get to in a minute, in terms of certifications and business plans and things like that, so that we can actually transact. And again, that could be from a selling perspective, services perspective, or both. And then, of course, we also have a premier level of partner who, if you're a basic partner today, you can graduate to the premier level if you achieve a certain qualified billings target, and also get some additional certifications. I will say, John and I work with lots of partners across the board, and honestly, the majority of partners we work with are at that basic, partner level. So great if you can graduate to premier, but honestly, it's more, additional benefit for you if you can from a margin and benefits perspective, but it is absolutely not required. And I understand, the profile of companies, we're talking to today, it may not make sense for all of you to get to the premier level, and that's okay. Next slide, John. So then this is the authorizations. And what we mean by authorizations is when we look at our partner ecosystem and we try to figure out, okay, who are we going to work with from a partner perspective on this particular opportunity? We want to be looking at what are the potential partners authorized for? And what that really means is, when you go back to our engagement model, sell, service, build, you then you hit those requirements for that engagement model, and then you select the specific products at Google that you want that engagement model for. So for example, John and I primarily focus on Google Cloud Platform, which is GCP, and that's our underlying infrastructure, cloud technology, and then Google Workspace. Those are kind of the two major product areas we're focused on. So from a partner perspective, you could become let's say, Google reseller for Google Workspace, and then maybe a services partner for Google Cloud Platform, or a combination of both. So that's what we mean by authorizations is, hey, I'm a reseller, or hey, I'm a services partner, and then these are the product categories, i.e. Google Workspace or Google Cloud Platform that I'm authorized for. And then just real quickly, and I'll hit on this a little bit on the next slide, but the major requirement, if you will, of becoming a partner, usually the longest pole in the tent, is just getting the certifications. And it's not difficult, it just takes some time. But we are definitely here to support you with that, and we've got a lot of resources that you can take advantage of, which I'll get to. But from a sales perspective, if you just want to be a reseller, all you have to do is get 2 sales credentials and then 2 technical credentials for the products that you want to resell. From a services perspective, you just have to get 2 professional certifications, technical certifications for the product that you want to participate in. Next slide, John. And then apologies, I don't know why this slide shows up this way, but hopefully you can see it all okay. But this is just a kind of a complete list of our certifications that I talked about. So again, basic requirements for resellers are 2 sales credentials and then those 2 technical certifications. For services partners, you've got to get the 2 technical certifications. And here's a whole list, right? So from a sales perspective, you can get our basic Google Cloud sales credential, which just kind of covers the whole gamut of Google Cloud. We also have the Google Workspace Fundamentals sales credential available. And then from a technical perspective, we have a lot, and we're continuing to add to that. So from a Google Workspace perspective, we've got the Professional Collaboration Engineer, the Deployment Services credential. So what that really means is, hey, I really want to help customers deploy and implement Google Workspace, maybe switching from a competitor onto the Google platform. We would want our partners to help with that implementation. You would go get those certifications to kind of get that badge from Google. And then again, from a GCP perspective, which is that second group down in the lower box, there's about 7 or 8 available today, and we're continuing to add to that. The most popular ones typically we see are the Google Cloud Architect, which is sort of a broad-reaching infrastructure, specialist around cloud architecture. And then data engineer is also very, very common for companies who really want to build out a data analytics or AI and ML practice. Next slide, John. And then here's where we're here to help, right? I don't want anyone to look at these certifications as some sort of major hurdle that they need to go over. They're really not that difficult, and we are absolutely here to help with free training. We've got a great partnership with Quick Labs, and we will get you access to Quick Labs where you can preview what the exams look like and get outlines of these exams. We also have several courses online that are powered through Quick Labs, and then we perform live training on demand all the time. And in those trainings, we're covering everything related to GCP and Google Workspace to really prepare our partners for these exams. And we'll also provide vouchers to you so you don't have to pay for the exams, which is great. Next slide, John. And I'm not going to read this whole slide, but I wanted to show the impact of what a Google Cloud certification has on you and potentially your company as well. The most, the one that kind of glares out to me the most is the average starting salary down there on the bottom right. So Google Cloud certification has the highest average starting salary of any certification in the cloud services space. So we think that's very interesting. We think it's a huge way to differentiate yourself from a resume perspective, but also from a personal development and career objective as well. Next slide, John. So hopefully by now you've sort of got a flavor for like the different engagement models, the different product categories we have, sort of how to onboard. What do you do once you become a partner? I mean, as John mentioned, you know, we will literally look for opportunities to bring you in and partner together on. But I wanted to mention this, we have this concept called expertise areas, which really is something that particularly our services partners can go and achieve within our program to really set themselves apart. So as you mature within our ecosystem, hopefully, you might find yourself, you know, working towards some of these expertise areas, which really helps your company stand out amongst our ecosystem of partners as a specialist in one of these areas. And we kind of categorize it by specific product or technology categories that we offer within our Google Cloud, you know, platform that you can see. Solution portfolios, or maybe in other words, specific workloads like cloud workloads that you might want to specialize in, such as, you know, SAP migrations onto GCP or something like that. And then of course, vertical and industry expertise, which is kind of a newer area for us. But, you know, John and I work specifically in public sector, and I'm personally working with several of our partners to get them to achieve the public sector you know, specialization. So again, just a nice way to kind of make yourself stand out in the program over time. Next slide, John. And then again, these are just some of the benefits to becoming a partner. I mean, we've talked about a lot of them. Again, we're very partner friendly. 100% of our business goes through the channel, through the partner ecosystem. But just kind of categorizing the different you know, programs or pillars of our benefits, if you will. So from a sales perspective, again, we're always going to attach partners to a deal. If you're a reseller, if you just want to be a reseller, that's totally great. We'd love to just be able to resell through you. You're going to make margin off that. Maybe you have some access to contract vehicles that we don't have access to. So we're all kind of adding value to each other. Of course, we have deal registration and deal referral programs available, and many other things. From a business, kind of a partner business investment perspective, we have a lot to offer. We have a whole team of what we call partner concierge and partner advisors that I will get you introduced to as soon as you raise your hand and say, yes, I'm interested in partnering with Google. So our concierge and advisor team will literally walk you through the Google Cloud onboarding process step by step. Like, we don't want you to take this journey alone. You know, there's a lot of steps. It's not difficult, but it's, you know, on the surface it can look difficult, but that's why these teams are here to help. And you will get a dedicated person to walk you through that entire process and ensure that you get through it successfully. From a marketing perspective, we do a lot of marketing, and we want to outsource those leads back to our partner community. So you'll definitely see that through our program. We also partner with Carahsoft as a distributor. If any of you are familiar with them, maybe with other technology that you sell. But Carahsoft does a lot of marketing for us as well, and John does lots of marketing events with them, trying to get the message out there for how Google Cloud can really help our public sector customers achieve fantastic outcomes, as he's done in the state of Illinois. So I say that because, you know, we do our own marketing at Google Cloud. Carahsoft does a lot of marketing with us from a public sector perspective, and we want to bring you into those marketing efforts. We have partners team up with Carahsoft all the time to maybe show a demo of a product they're building, or you know, show customers how easy it is to migrate to Google Workspace, as an example. And then from a technical perspective, we have a lot to offer. You know, I talked about the certifications and the specializations that you can ultimately achieve. But again, we do not want, in most cases, to do the technical services work ourselves. We want to outsource that to partners. So to help you with that, you know, we want to give you these partner services kits, which really walk you through how to deliver, you know, a workload like SAP on GCP, or migrating, you know, VMware VMs to GCP. So we're here to help from a technical perspective. Next slide, John. So I just want to wrap up, and I think we're doing okay on time, and we should still have some time for Q&A. But just really wanted to wrap up with, again, thanks for participating in this event. We just want to, you know, quickly summarize why we think this program is attractive to you. First of all, I hope it's really easy for you all, and I think it will be. And on the next slide, I'll show you how you can get started. But we want to make it as easy as possible, as John talked about earlier, and we're definitely here to help you. Again, we've probably said it 5 times, but 100% of our business goes through partners. So there will definitely be opportunities where we're going to be reaching out to you to see if you can help us out. We have all kinds of dedicated Google support. I've talked about that quite a bit. We talked about the marketing. There's really no channel conflict as well. I mean, we don't have partners, you know, trying to drive each other's pricing down to the street level. I mean, it's a very open, you know, competitive landscape. The margins are healthy, and we've really never run into any issues there. And then I mentioned it before, but worth mentioning again. Really no conflict with our professional services organization. We do have our own professional services team. What we deliver from that perspective is traditionally higher level kind of thought leadership advisory type services. The implementation and deployment services, like, we expect our partners to deliver that. And our hope is that becomes a new revenue stream for you all. Plus, even some of the professional services work we do in-house, 99% of it gets subcontracted back out to our partner community. We just can't scale to meet the demand. And it's not a professional services is not a revenue stream that Google wants to build internally. We want to really just focus on our technology. Next slide, John. So how to get started? Again, it's very easy. We want to make it as easy as possible. There's literally just a hyperlink out there that you can go to become a partner and apply. I would encourage you to do that if you know you're interested right now. If you still have questions, we're happy to address them here in our remaining time, or I'm also happy to meet with you individually and answer any questions. But just go right to our website. You can apply to become a partner. Again, that will get you into our member category, and we can start working you through the process. Once you do apply, again, it's very important to select the engagement models that you want to participate in. So whether that's, you know, just reselling Google Workspace or being a services partner for Google Cloud Platform, or maybe a combination of both. And then please do email me if and when you apply. I don't want any of you to apply and kind of be on your own. You probably won't be anyways, but if you email me, number one, I'll be there to answer any questions you might have, you know, up front. And number two, I will get you aligned to our Google Partner Concierge team right away, which basically they will assign an actual person to you to help you through that onboarding process, and that will be your key point of contact to kind of take you through the journey. So with that, John, I think we'll open it up to Q&A.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, we wanted to make sure that we spend enough time to answer questions you might have. Everybody is on mute, so if you would like to ask a question, you can raise your hand by clicking the raised hand button, or you can type it into the chat window, and we will do our best to address all of your questions. I'll also put a copy of the link in the chat window that Mark said to sign up for the Partner Advantage. So with that in mind, let me go to the question queue. And Sean, I see you have a question. Please take yourself off mute, and we're here to answer.
Hi there. Certainly appreciate the opportunity, and excited to get more in depth with y'all here. I'm with National Tech Services. We've been a BEP partner to the state for about 18 years and cover quite a lot of ground, and recently started down the path with Google as well. So it was very fortunate to see the announcement for this to come up.
Well, great.
Yeah, I was just curious, Mark, or maybe Jennifer, if you could give some examples of some of the types of projects that you all have, I guess, brought to success or brought to fruition through either IDES or just do it internally, or I guess just to give me a sense of kind of, hey, what are some of the kind of the cool, exciting stuff that you guys have been putting together thus far?
Yep.
John, do you want to take that? You're a little bit closer.
I can take that, or
yeah.
Secretary Ricker, whatever you like.
You can certainly speak to this usually better than me, John, but I'll
Okay.
try to kick it off. So since you mentioned IDES in particular, yeah, I think this story's been out there quite a bit over the last year. But yeah, we have and I think it was one of the early projects, right? We worked on with Google, and really that's bringing chatbots and contact center AI to both IDES's website, their call center. So that was, working with Google and working with one of their partners was frankly a really fantastic experience. And I think I've said this in a couple of other formats, that this was one of those examples where the vendor tells you how quick and easy it can be, and it really was, which is not often the experience, right? Usually, in government and the state, we get in the way of ourselves a lot. So we're usually the ones slowing a project down. I totally understand that. But in this case, putting that in place, it was very easy. It's been easy for our teams to maintain on this technology and to update the intents on those chatbots and for the AI. So that one in particular, it was really a huge success, and I think there's far more we can do there. Some of that's just, again, that's the state being cautious about what else we roll out. But John, do you want to add to that?
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, so that is a good one, and that was probably where the state initially started working with Google Cloud. And the technology is omni-channel customer engagement. And the use case there was that with the offices being closed in Illinois for unemployment, it put a lot of pressure on the contact center and the website. And Google technology, AI technology, contact center AI, we thought could be helpful to them. And that project was deployed in a couple of weeks. And it's been expanding since then, and it's proliferated to multiple agencies across the state that have found value in that as well. So when there's a success in one place, it often wants to be replicated in other places. And so the biggest challenge the state always has, and I think Secretary Ricker will attest to this, is that, hey, once, I don't want to be a guinea pig, but once if it's successful here, then I can really use it in a lot of different places. And so what we do at Google is try to mitigate that risk by taking on the burden of risk at Google, enabling the either a proof of concept or a pilot to show the value, and then that ultimately will turn into a project. Another example, Sean, is there's a massive need for language inclusion across the state. 6 different languages are primarily spoken in the state of Illinois, and the ability to service residents that are limited English proficient is really important. So we did Google has prolific technology in language translation AI, both for documents and websites. And we've done some projects to help convert documents into 6 different languages, and that's another example. We've also done some analytics projects, looking at dashboards on customer service and analytics in some detail. So there's a plethora of things that we've done, and a plethora of things that we're working on. We have 2 projects underway where today where we're bidding with BEP vendors that we brought into these bids for modernization projects in healthcare and family services and DCFS. So plenty of technology. I will say one last thing as well, and I think there was a comment from one of the people on the member that said they're a partner with AWS, Dell, and Microsoft, and this sounds like a great program. I do want to say that it's not a one vendor fits all world anymore. Today the world is moving to hybrid, multi-cloud, on-premise, with cloud, and each vendor in the industry does a really great job, including Google. And one size never fits all. The opportunity for you with Google is to diversify your portfolio of expertise so that you have a broader bandwidth to participate in engagements. Sean, I hope I answered your question with Secretary Ricker successfully. ProMaster
Very
Here
much.
Bill.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Your name says ProMaster Here Bell. Is that right?
Yes, sir. I apologize. My son hacked my Google account. So, yes. So
I've seen that before. It's awesome.
I
So
love it.
anyway, I am Dr. Jerry Bell. I'm a former West Point graduate, currently a BEP, pending DBE certification with PACE. We're also a CVE SDVOSB with the VA and in the 8A program. So my question is more directed towards is SBIRs or are SBIRs an interest? And is that something, as we go through your continuum of qualifications, is that something that we could reach out and potentially collaborate with? And we're also located in a hub zone.
So I apologize, Dr. Bell. I'm not sure what SBIR acronym means.
Okay, so SBIRs are small business innovative research for the federal government.
Uh-huh.
It's a way to create a commercializable product with the government.
Okay.
Research is up to, they start at 250,000 for initial funding and up to 2.5 million. So it's a way for a small business to go through a marketing process with the government and create a commercializable product.
Okay. So Mark, you can chime in here, but my thinking is that if where Google Cloud would potentially help or Google in general would participate in that type of help research, so if you're building a product as part of this research and would see value in building that on Google Cloud, that is an avenue for what Mark referred to as ISV partnership, independent software vendor. And we have a number of those who have built products to sell to the market that run as either a software as a service type of product, and it runs on Google Cloud. I think a familiar example is Snapchat. Snapchat, is a product out there that runs on Google Cloud. There's a GPS tracking system, a company called Geotab, which handles fleet management, that their products are built on Google Cloud. So Dr. Bell, if the area is, hey, I'm interested in developing a product, getting research grant funding and coming to market with that, that may be an avenue that we can explore collaboratively with you.
Outstanding, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And I'll also add, Dr. Bell, I'm not sure if your comment was related also to perhaps if you do some business on the federal government side, if that was part of the intent of your comment, I'd be happy to get you looped in with our federal team as well.
Absolutely. And we are trying to transition as a DBE for the state. We've done some work with DHSS or Homeland or Department of Health and Security, but we're more of a federal contractor, but we would like to do more work with the state. So
Gotcha.
Okay, and Dr. Kaladi, I see your note here. We'll add you to the follow-up information on the SBIR grants. Very good. Okay, if there's other questions, we still have some time. You can raise your hand, put it in the chat window. Sounds like there might not be. I'll offer some closing commentary here. Oh, there is a question from Cornelius Hill. You could take yourself off mute, Cornelius, and I'm happy to answer your question.
Yes, Cornelius Hill, Inspire Management Services. I was going to both websites. There are two links. There's the partner advantage at the start of the slide, and then there's the cloud.google how to become a partner. And it looks like they're similar but yet different, and so I just want to know which link to go through. In terms of the prompts, there are different prompts on the enrollment form.
I didn't notice that, Cornelius, but thank you for catching. Let me, I'll get your email address from what John and I will be able to see everyone's email that attended this. Let me go make sure, I'll go check both links and make sure you have the right one.
Okay. Not too different, but some differences, that's all.
Thanks for catching that, Cornelius.
Okay.
Sorry about that. We'll get that straightened out. Linda Madison asked a question. My company focuses on project management. How can we benefit with the Google partnership? That's a really good question, Linda, and I was going to mention this in the closing comments. Many times the type of companies that you might have may have limited resources for programming, coding, deployment skills, but you have other sets of skills that can be related to project management, QA services, training, those types of things that are all part of projects. Being a Google Cloud partner enables you to credentialize yourself with other systems integrators or maybe other primes where they can subcontract that type of work out to you as well. The other thing is that you can, being a Google Cloud partner here, as your company focuses on project management, that could be there could be direct opportunities for you with the state unrelated to Google, for project management opportunities for their PMO office. But as it relates to Google Cloud, what we see many times is that certain vendors can play a participatory role in the larger project. And I'll give you just two examples here. In transformational modernizations, there is a lot of change management activities or adoption management activities and training activities. And those oftentimes are excellent roles to participate with a larger transformational project as a subcontractor to a prime. Having a Google Cloud Partner certification qualifies and credentializes you to work with that SI partner. It's not to say that you couldn't work with them without the certification, but it's a trust factor for the larger primes where they know that you've already been familiar and certified with Google Cloud. It's easy for them to adopt your services into the project. And there's a plethora of those types of opportunities. It kind of is all use case driven and opportunity driven, but that's how I see as a project management firm, you can participate in a bigger way. And Mark, I don't know if you have any comment on that.
I think you nailed it, John.
Okay.
And Cornelius, if you're still there, I just pasted in the chat that second link is the correct one for applying. Thank you for catching that. That first one is actually our portal, which you will have access to eventually becoming a partner, but you won't be able to get in there yet.
Thanks, Mark. All right. Very good. So we are here. I'm a resident of Illinois. I spend 100% of my time working for the state of Illinois as our public sector lead for Google in our space. And it would be an honor to work with all of you. Mark and I are available to answer any further questions. We'll send a follow-up email to everybody with a link to this recording if you want to review it in the future, and with our contact information to reach out. And Secretary Ricker, if you have any closing comments, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. No, just, thank you to Google and thanks everyone for joining today. Really appreciate it. Like I said, I definitely enjoy working with John, working with Google, and really, really happy that we were able to have this conversation today and look forward to expanding the partnership.
Thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Thank you for participating. Have a nice day.
Thanks all.
Bye-bye.